Okay, hello. Hello. How you doing? Got my tactical pin here. How are you? I'm on my way to the tournament soon. All right. But enough about that. Let's I will, Angry Hippo. But enough about that. I haven't been streaming in a while. And just been doing what I've been doing. I've been going out, doing things, training, stuff like that. Yeah, good stuff. I've been riding my e-bike. I love that e-bike, 30 miles per hour. Oh man, I rode that to the next town. It was awesome. Yeah, Angry Hippo. I'm thinking about that. Yeah, Instagram doesn't have as many, viewers, you could say. But at the same time, at the very least, I can do a lot more. And the fact they're not any trolls on Instagram. And I'm not complaining about the trolls, but the one thing it does is the people that that used to come to this stream, they come less and less because the trolls just drive them away. And I don't blame them. I really don't blame them. The trolls don't actually. It's kind of like that. I invite them to a pool that's basically full of acid or full of piranhas. I mean, it's not. It's my own. It's basically nothing I can do about that. The pool is, and someone else put the piranhas in the pool. You know what I mean? Well, I was partially responsible for putting the piranhas in the pool. Don't get me wrong. I take responsibility. But at the same time, I can understand why they don't come around as much. Why the good people, the people from the other communities, they don't come around as much. At least on Instagram, I get the good people. I get the yeah, but they can still cause a lot of damage, Brian. I accidentally put piranhas in the pool, and well, I should. It's my own fault, I guess. I take full responsibility for it. But it does drive away good people, people that I like Black Powder Papa and people in the slingshot community, the knife community. They don't want to be a part of this anymore, and I can understand why. I know that. Yeah, it's funny, Brian. But I'm just using an analogy here, That being said, I have done some great streams on Instagram. I didn't get as many viewers, but I get a chance to talk to people. People are respectful. They're nice. Okay, in America they sell this European chocolate delicacy that I love so much. It's called the Rocher. It's basically it's like a chocolate ball. It's got like little peanuts on it. It's got nougat in the center. Yeah. Well, hello, football. Hello, football. How you doing? Yeah, I get it. You're from Turkey. You're from Turkey. Gobble gobble. Okay. um, Doing great. How you doing, football? Maybe. It's definitely got a rich culture. Thank you, Airgun Ninja. Thank you. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right. You know, I come from a rural community. That's not in doubt. But you know, people in rural communities have spiritual beliefs, as I said before. Certain things that are taboo, and I think that's okay. You know. I got away. Trust me. All right. I'm not saying how I'm going to get there for the trolls. Dead Wolf! You're teleporting. Steel ball bearings, Airgun Ninja. Steel ball bearings. Probably not, Brian. Probably not. Can't take it with me. Well, well, I can tell you something. Man, oh man, I'm telling you. Let's talk about something. It seems to me that Mr. Bulldo has found out, sadly, that what happens when you offend the spirit world. Yeah, I heard. Very sad. But there's reasons why disrespecting the dead is kind of a taboo in most cultures. You know? Misfortune always follows. Now, part of it is Dave's undoing. Well, I don't think an exorcism is going to solve this problem, sadly. Um, from my perspective, you have to beg for forgiveness. I mean, well, Mr. Bulldo disrespected the dead. Now, where I'm from, you don't do that. Because you'll offend the spirit world. You will. And it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter who you are. You don't do that. Because the spirit world can go anywhere. It's like the internet. Except it moves 1,000 times faster than the speed of light. And they know they can find you a lot faster. No need for a search engine. More than likely, Dead Wolf. I'm not saying Bo is messing up Dave's life. No, not saying that. I'm saying there are entities that will come after you when you offend the spirit, when you disrespect the dead. And they are not nice. And they don't play. Well, this is reality, Angry Hippo. So true, Airgun Ninja. But I am a man. I'm a Christian. I have spiritual beliefs. I believe there are certain things you cannot say. And, it's certain things you cannot do when you're interacting with the spirit world. And Dave broke a major taboo. And, recently he tried to call up all his friends. And they all blocked his number. How you doing, Vladimir? How you doing? I'm doing great, bro. And here's the thing. I'm not even mad at him. Because I know this was a bad idea. And anyway, if anything, I feel sorry for him. It was the stupidest thing he could have ever done. Now he'll find out that it's not me he's up against now. It's an invisible enemy. An invisible opponent. Yeah. I believe you reap what you sow, as the Bible said. How you doing, Grotesque? It's very sad that, but this shows that Dave has no respect for anything or anyone, including himself. This shows that Dave has utter lack of respect for what is sacred. But that lack of respect for people, for things that are sacred, that's going to bite him back in the ass. And it already is. You know what I mean? You're right about that, baby daddy. But it's not me that they're going to have to contend with now. All I can say is that, Dave, I would ask for forgiveness from the spirit world. I would pray for forgiveness. Because they'll make it a lot worse for you. They're not going to go, they're not going to do that. But they will make your life miserable. They will cause a great misfortune upon you. You know? Yeah, they lied about that. They, yeah, I know about that. Doesn't really matter to me because at this point, I can just say I feel sorry for the guy. Because now he's going to be messing with something he don't understand. He don't understand it. Now he's going to understand. You know what I mean? Well, it does show you I have the patient. I have patience. That I was willing to try to be nice to the guy, but Dave has no respect for anybody, including himself. And I've seen that countless in times again. So he has no respect, but he's going to learn some respect for things that, for the things that matter, you know. And it's very sad that it has to be like that, but Dave lacks respect for others. He lacks respect for even himself. You know? If I was mad at a former friend, I can tell you this. I'm not going to go on the internet like a bitch and defame him. I'll confront him like a man. If he didn't like what I had to say, he should have came to my house and come to me face to face like a man. But he didn't do that. I would have respected him more for that. But he didn't. In Jesus Christ's name, I pray for Dave that he sees the light. Amen. Yes, I have practiced, Vladimir. Thank you, Vladimir. So, that's all I got to say about that. I'll conclude it with this saying. Dave, you may not respect me or anyone else, and you constantly disrespect others for the sake of what you call comedy. But now you have no friends, Dave. You called all your old friends, they blocked your number. They want nothing to do with you because you never respected them. You never respected me. You never respected yourself. But you're going to find out what happens when you disrespect the dead. There's nothing I can do about that. Nothing. That's all up to you, Dave. Yeah, I know, Grotesque. I don't think you would want to know, Airgun Ninja. Trust me. That being said, let's get back to what we need to do. All right, we got some good stuff going. In the future, I'm going to do some things. I'll put it this way. It's exaggerated, and a lot of things are made up. That Creek story was basically something I told him. But the thing is, he basically exaggerated it, and he made a lot of shit up. You know? If anybody knows me, I try to be as honorable as I can be. I'm not a perfect person by any means. You know? Yeah. But I strive to be the best me I can be. You know? Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, and a lot of it was, a lot of things he exaggerated. Like I said, he did that because I kind of said something, and I shouldn't have said that. I really do apologize for this one. I did say on a live stream, and I shouldn't have said it, but that yeah, I really didn't like him, but I was working with him, so we could. I thought we was a business arrangement, and I thought everybody wins. That we weren't exactly friends, you know what I mean? But we were in business together, you know what I mean? That's what I thought was happening. He took it as basically I'm just using him for a ride. I thought everybody was going to win, him and me. You know what I mean? I think he misconstrued what I was saying. But I did say I didn't like him, and I stand by that statement. He's a hard guy to like, you know? That never happened. See, that's the part that never happened. That never happened. Now that never happened. Boy, he exaggerates. Yeah, I'm doing well. Grotesque. That was an exaggeration. I never was taking a leak in the woods. No, I got a bathroom nearby. You know? Yeah, he got a little butt hurt, you know what I mean? And this is what a narcissist does, but that's just how it is. But let's talk about something now, shall we? We're getting down to the nitty gritty. Yes, it was AI, baby daddy. Yes, it was AI. It was an AI video. That's true, Max. Very true. He lives in a state where slingshots are banned. You realize that, right? The state of New Jersey, slingshots are banned weapons. You realize that, right? It's called AI, baby daddy. AI. They did something similar with Nasty Goblins. They made a similar video with Nasty Goblins using an AI version of my voice narrating. They do that. I get that, grotesque, but at the same time, I think the Southerners have a lot of pretty good. Yeah, stinky. The point is here is that but yeah, I mean that was like, okay, I wrote the script Nasty Goblins, and I talked about Nasty Goblins. A lot of it, most of it, because I wasn't in it. It wasn't me. They used my image. They faked my voice using AI. You can do that these days. You get that? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's how this all started. Now, I hate to go through this again. Okay, I had this idea. I was getting sick and tired of Hollywood movies and how woke they were. And how, stupid they were, how anti-masculinity they were. And to a certain extent they still are, but there seems to be going away from that these days. We see shows like Landman and oh boy. Yeah, I kind of, here's the thing about that. They said their sponsor was Slingshot. Well, I know people in Slingshot. All I had to do was send them a text on Instagram, and I asked them about that. And you know what they told me? They have no sponsorship or affiliation with Moose Knuckle Outdoors. It's a lie. All the documents he presented, they're fake. Because I know people who work for Slingshot. It's all bullshit. You think I'm not in tune with the Slingshot world? You're wrong. They're not going to turn up at the tournament. They don't care about the tournament. And Dave doesn't like camping. He said it himself in one stream. Oh, I'm going to throw my back out while I'm sleeping on the ground. Whee! Personally, Dave, I would love you to throw your back out. Yes, I'd put you up on a... I'd throw you back out. I'd just drop you off in a waterfall. How about that? Take a cool drench. You can just jump off a waterfall. It's a nice place. It's a nice drench. You'll find it to be a nice swimming area with... Whatever. Yes, Dave, go jump off a waterfall. I love to see that. Better yet, ride on a barrel down a stream where a waterfall is, and no, they're not. Got news flash. I know Slingshot. And they're not paying for shit. Lie number one. The documents they have, fakes. Lie number two. I know people in Slingshot. Duh. Jeez. You fall for anything bullshit. Exactly. We all know each other. We're a very tight-knit community. No, Vladimir, but soon I'll do a cooking stream. I did have some great breaded barbecue wings the other night. But I didn't cook them. I ordered them. They're nice. Who's Billy? I don't know Billy. You're talking about Eric, Dave's wrestler friend? He's cool. I'm not sure if they're really close, but he's cool. But good for you. You know my friend Cody. And that means you hacked my phone. So, that could be illegal, That'd be nice, Vladimir. What about it, Kush Cave? No. I can unequivocally say that never happened. Not in a million years. Didn't happen. No. What a bunch of bullshit that is. Oh boy. Kush, you're getting disrespectful. And I think it's time for you to go. If that's how you want to play, if you're loyal, stay in Dave's streams, not mine. Okay? Tired of you boysters anyway. Tired of boysters anyway. Go away. It's not time yet, Bree. It's not time yet. The competition starts on the 29th of June. Oh, thank you, Bree. Thank you. All right, if you just came in, give me a like. I got 13 views and only 8 thumbs up. All right. Well, we're doing well. Well, since it's my first competition, I guess I'm going to be an amateur. You know what I mean? I'm just starting out. My first competition and all. You know? Max? No. Not in a million years. Okay? Baby daddy. And both of them, okay. Both Dave and Moose are like, okay, both Dave and Moose don't exactly like slingshots. They're firearms people, aren't they? They've never shot a slingshot in their entire life. I'm guessing. Well, maybe Moose when he was a kid. I don't know. Maybe Dave when he was a kid. Probably not that much. Maybe not Dave because slingshots are illegal in the state of New Jersey. No man. That being said, it's not that basically. It doesn't look like they're really into that. Do you think they're going to be that good? No. No. That's very true, Billy. Very true. Because they don't understand the principles of archery, okay? They can pull a trigger, but they cannot draw a bow. Or draw a slingshot. It's a different principle altogether. Everyone has their specializations, but the point is that slingshot is a hunting weapon. You could say it's rather primitive, but it's effective. What are you talking about, baby daddy? No one's excluding anyone of any kind of ethnic or religious group. I don't understand that point of view. The slingshot community doesn't have that kind of restriction. I tell you. We got slingshot shooters from all over the world. I just don't know what you're talking about, man. Oh, Oh boy. Well, Billy Mays is long gone. Although I thought he was a really cool guy. I love that one. Hi, I'm Billy Mays, and I'm here to show you OxyClean. I'm Billy Mays, and this is the newest product from the line of OxyClean. Well, enjoy your holiday. That's all I can say. Baby daddy. Oh, Billy Mays. Billy Mays. Billy Mays. Tap dancing. Alright, well, here's a funny concept for you. A fat guy tap dancing. Imagine the loud sound. Of course. We got shooters coming from all over the world. What are you talking about? We even have a black guy in the slingshot community. Yes, we have our token black guy. Mo Waller. Mo Waller. Cool, Billy. So we even have a black guy in the slingshot community. So I don't know what you're talking about. We have slingshot shooters from South America to the Middle East. Oh, we got them all. We got slingshot shooters from China. Africa, you know, slingshot shooting is an international thing. I mean, it's not like it's international, and different like shooters have different types of frames on their different cultures and stuff like that, and I'd rather keep that to myself for the very reason the trolls might try something. If there's anything that Dave taught me, is just never let them know how you're getting there, because they might interrupt it with some kind of, like, kind of like, what you would call, like, swatting. So you want to be careful about those kind of things. No, swatting. Where they call police on you and they make up some false crap and then you have to deal with the police. I've had it happen to me several times. I've learned not to tell my streamers how I'm going to get there, because if you do, you might get swatted. And I'm not going to do that. So I keep that part a secret. Does that help you understand in a greater capacity? At this point, no. Because Dave doesn't respect anybody. Yeah, Dave. I told you that I didn't like you. That's true. And I stand by that statement. You're not an easy guy to like. You know what I mean? Thank you, Airguns Anonymous. And Dave, just remember, none of your friends called you back on your live stream. That's got to tell you something about you, Dave, and how you treat your friends. Just remember that. Maybe you shouldn't treat your friends like shit for the sake of your live stream. No, I found a cheaper way. Thank you, Airguns Anonymous. God bless you, brother. All right, well. Well, we got 16 views and only 9 likes. Thumbs up, people. Thumbs up. Yeah, I understand, Vladimir. You live all the way in Russia. So true. One day. All right, we got 10 likes and 15 views. I think we can get some more thumbs up, can't we? No. I am late Gen X. Okay, I'm an older person. I only play video games I played back in the day were the old platformers. Were Nintendo sets, you know? We're talking about the East Coast Slingshot tournament. It's going to be fun. Yeah, I even bring some slingshots, you know. Look at this one. I brought this one out. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something about that, yeah. I think we can take that off, can't we? Yeah, here we are. Brought an old ant head scrapper out. That's a good idea, Vladimir. Very good idea. I would appreciate that. Oh yeah, well, interesting, baby daddy. It's a hook. Nah, it's a hook. It's a finger hook. It's designed to protect your hand against hand slap. Has a higher riser here, you know, where hand slap's not gonna be a problem. You know what I mean? And for those who don't know what a hand slap is, when the bands hit your hand, hit the back part of your hand, and it hurts. It was an early model, you could say. All right, well, so we got to do. Well, may appear that the rain has gone. I might do some. I'm going to do some slingshot shooting today. No. Now, if a projectile could basically, I never heard of it hitting there, but let's say you hit like a steel ball or marble on a hard object, it's possible that object could bounce back and ricochet back into your head or to your chest. I've seen that happen. You know? Hurts like a bastard. Yes, I do have one with the wrist brace attachment. It's not. It's against the rules of the tournament, though. So I haven't been training with it lately. I have several slingshots with wrist brace attachment to it. That can happen, Vladimir. That can happen. I would say you need a catch box. It's not hard to make a catch box. Just need a piece of cloth, a box of some kind. It's kind of like how you'd make a puppet show box, you know. You know what I mean? They're called catch boxes. They can save you a lot in getting hurt. You know, we call that a ricochet, Vladimir. No, in English speaking, where we call that a ricochet. When a projectile bounces off and comes back at you, that's called a ricochet. I think it comes from the French. Anyway, I hear that crossbows are banned in Russia. Such a shame. Vladimir, that crossbows are banned in Russia. Then you don't belong here, baby daddy. I'm gonna send you off. You broke a rule. You know, I'm gonna give you a timeout. I'll give you 30 minutes to cool your jets. When you break the rules, you break the rules. Okay. All right. You know, you're Russian. Oh, well, you're not a moderator. Nah. I'll put it this way. I only give moderators to people who have videos on their channel. If you're just a channel with no videos, I don't give moderator status for security reasons. You know what I mean? I have to get to know you better before I do. I have to do some exchange with you. I mean, I pick my moderators carefully. You know, not impersonal towards you, but I would have to vet you first. There's a vetting process. That's a possibility, Vladimir. Anyway, put some videos on your channel and we'll talk. You know what I mean? All right, Vladimir, that's good. Yeah, like I said, you know, in your country, well, if your country, you have that. I hear crossbow. You call it forbidden. We just call that illegal. Crossbows are illegal in Russia, which is a very bizarre thing, in my opinion. Billy. Yeah. Well. Oh, they are? Oh, they are? Well, I would suggest the Steambow Stinger. The Steambow Stinger crossbows. The Steambow, like repeating crossbows, they're really good. Now there's the first model, the Steambow Stinger AR6, but there's the Steambow Stinger M10 has basically a detachable magazine, and they're basically pistol crossbows under your law. So it'd be well, that's no problem. 90 pounds. You can get one that's about. You'd only need 90-pound draw. You know what I mean? For self-defense, you would only need 90 pounds, 90, 80 pounds. With arrows, you can even have 50 pounds and still be effective. So that's no problem, you know. With bolts. So 90 pounds is good enough, in my opinion. 90 pounds is good enough to stop an intruder or anything. I'll get the Steambow Stinger M10. The one with the detachable magazine? Oh. I would suggest that one. Vladimir. That being said, get yourself a Steamboat Stinger M10. You know? Good stuff. Awesome, Vladimir. I understand about money. Well, it does appear. Let's see what we got here. We got some good views. All right. That being said, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing everybody. Oh, we got 10 views and 10 thumbs up. That's a good even balance, I'd say. That's right, Vladimir. Any donations are welcome at this point. All right. Thank you, Vladimir. And we welcome our Russian shooters because the modern slingshot, I think, got its start in Russia. Hi, Bullfrog. How you doing, buddy? If you just came in, give me a like. Thumbs up, Pete. Thumbs up. You know? Just give me a thumbs up, bro. Thumb. Yeah. Very funny, Grotesque. All right, we got 11 likes. That is good. Yeah, I'm planning on going out today. I'm gonna do some slingshot practice, and then I just might shoot my crossbow today as well. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna shoot my crossbow. How about that? Camo Campa! Thank you, Camo Campa, my good friend. I'm doing great today. It's a beautiful day, isn't it? Just going to enjoy myself. I'm going to go out and have a good time. Alright, we got 12 likes. I'm loving that. Yes, it's a rumble in the jungle, Bullfrog. Here's the thing. Dave wouldn't come to my territory. He would not come. Well, I'll do that. You know, there is going to be a Being of the Warrior Part 4, so you can look forward to that. Yes, I did Being the Warrior Part 2, and Being the what? And Being the Warrior Part 3. 4 is coming. 4 is coming. He would be out. That he would. Bullfrog. That he would. But I have a feeling Dave is a coward anyway. If he had a problem with what I was saying, he could have rode his happy ass to Jersey or called me. But this is what he did? It's a coward's move. But to be fair, Dave, yes, I don't like you. But was I trying to use you? I thought we had a pretty good business arrangement where we both win in this situation. You get something you want, I get something I want. That's what I thought it was. You know? Yeah. Couple of years, Bullfrog. I met him during the COVID, the beginning of the lockdowns stuff. I met him when I wanted to protest the lockdowns in my town, you know. I wanted to stand for something. Biggest regret I made in my life. Anyway. Coward. Well, Moose is fairly recently. I was introduced to Moose by Dave. And the reason why I have a deep disdain for Moose. Sounds a good idea, Bullfrog. Is because I literally had to shelf a script that I wrote because he basically tarnished it. And I was almost coming close to suing Moose, to be honest with you. And Bullfrog. Well, you're here now, Al. That's all that matters. If you just came in, give me a thumbs up. You know how that is. But I came close to suing Moose because of the fact I wrote a script that was really good. It'll be around the 29th of June. Steven? Yeah. And this is basically, this all started when Moose said he had a lot of money. He said he liked the concept of Nasty Goblins, how I was telling this story. And he wanted a script, so it took me a little while, but I wrote a complete script on my computer. And then he was saying I got to change my script to include the alphabet community. And there was someone he wanted me to bring Michelle into the Nasty Goblins storyline, and I wasn't too keen on that idea because I don't think Michelle fit into that story, and above all else, yeah, Steven. And of course, it was that boy community, Dave's stream. And basically, they were wanting me to change my story to something I didn't want it to be. I compromised with them a little bit. I really did. For example, I added a love scene between the lead character and his wife. I wrote that in. But then they wanted me to add, like rainbow-friendly characters, and I was not going to wokeify this script, because the whole point of Nasty Goblins was to make a script that was anti-woke, that was politically incorrect a little bit, but it's still entertaining. It doesn't preach to people with political messages. It's just a fun movie script that's masculine, that's, like the stuff I grew up with. And I wrote Nasty Goblins with a little bit of action, a little bit of horror, and a little bit of comedy, And it's just a fun script to do, and it's some elements of it, and it was gonna be great. He said he was going to fund Nasty Goblin, but when he wanted to do that, I pulled out because when he said he wanted to put rainbow characters in there. And then I made a compromise with Moose about Michelle. I made a compromise. I said she can if she can act, she can do the part of the Goblin Queen. I don't care. You know what I mean? And the thing is here, we did test her. And of course, she wasn't that good at acting, and she couldn't say her lines. and the fact is, she didn't want to do it. She pulled out. So, and she quit, pretty much. And then things started falling apart, and it got to the point where they made parodies with AI, and they started to say it was my work, and that's where I came close to suing, because they were saying these parodies with rainbow flags were my work, and it was everything I stand against, everything I am against. They attacked something that was close to my heart because I put my soul into the script, and that's what they did. And kind of don't want to mess with them again, and I won't. So that's what happened with Nasty Goblins. I had to shelf it because of what they did. And they wonder why they're not liked. And I talked to a lot of people, even in that community, they said that they went too far. Because everyone in that, even people in that community said, we knew how much that script meant to you. And the fact that they took a big fat crap on it, just kind of turned a lot of people off from Moose and Dave, you know? Crap on it. Thank you, Al. I got some big guns, yeah. Crap on it. 13. Okay, got third. Oh, that's a even number. 13 views and 13 likes. Crap on it. So this is not the first time, and this is screw with you. Yeah, and that's why Dave has no friends. This is why on a recent stream, he tried to call up all his old friends and nobody answered. Gee, I wonder why that is. Why? And Dave, have you ever wondered, Dave, that maybe it's your lack of respect for the people around you? You're willing to basically sacrifice them for basically content on your stream. That you have no friends. No, man? You can say it's funny all you want. But you, Dave, there are times when you go too far. And you know it. You don't know. The problem with you, Dave, and Moose is that you don't know the line. You can't tell the line. You don't know when you cross a line. It's one thing to be funny, but there's lines that you don't cross. And you have to figure out those lines. You know what I mean? That's the one thing that happens, I can tell you, is that Dave and Moose just don't know the lines they can't cross. And they don't know the barriers. And that's the problem. And they wonder why people don't talk to them, because you cross lines. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's so true, Al. That's right. And this is the reason why, Bullfrog, I've been doing a lot of live streams on Instagram. Of course, I don't get a lot of viewers there. Okay? I don't. But I can tell you, the people that come there, the people that are there, they're a lot more positive, and we share the same interests. There's a lot less trolls and on Instagram. There are scammers on Instagram. You got to deal with those, but I don't have, I don't have trolls coming to my Instagram streams. I don't have scammers coming to my Instagram streams and acting stupid. YouTube is full of trolls. Instagram and Facebook are full of scammers. But at least scammers are respectful enough not to come to your streams and act stupid. You know? To a certain extent, yes. So is Facebook. It's just in a different way. You got to watch out for scammers on Facebook. You know? Yeah, I can tell, Greg. You know, like I said, I had a lot of great people that were on these streams before, but a lot of these boy trolls just they don't want to come to these streams anymore because my streams have become a cesspool, and I don't blame them. I really don't blame the good people from the air gun and the slingshot community and the archery community not wanting to come to these streams because they become a cesspool of boy activity. And for that, I am sorry to my friends in the slingshot and air gun community that you have these kind of scumbags coming here, and it makes you uncomfortable. And I don't blame you 1 second for not being comfortable. Oh, they try to. There's different kind of scams they try to pull, like romance scams, all sorts of shit. I mean, you can look them up. How you doing, ETB? Not really, Vladimir. Not really. But what I do find, Vladimir, is like-minded people. I have a group there, Air Guns and Archery Club, where I get people from around the world posting about, their air guns, their slingshots, their bows and arrows, their crossbows, and all sorts of other things. Ah, very good, very good. I got 14 likes. I'm liking that. The sun is shining today, and I might want to have some lunch. And it's been very nice talking to everybody. But yeah, I do like Instagram a little bit better. Although you don't get as many views, at least you get the people that, are actually interested in what you're interested in. They actually want to talk. They actually want to basically, I get great interviews there too, and I can even show launchers on live streams. It's awesome. Oh, a Seneca Eagle. Okay, a Seneca Dragon Claw, I would suggest. Talon, Eagle Claw, a Seneca Eagle Claw. The company's called Seneca. The Eagle Claw. It's a great hunting rifle. It'll take down a deer. It's a big bore air rifle PCP. No problem. It'll take down a deer. If that's what you want. Awesome. Here, oh boy, ETB. I might. Unfortunately, because of state law, I can't bullfrog. I looked up the state law, and it doesn't look like it's in my favor. You can get a lot of tasty calibers. Like 50 caliber will take down a deer. A 50 caliber solid lead slug. Yeah, it'll take down a deer. So I would say a Seneca air rifle would be pretty good. Like an Eagle Claw, those are pretty good PCP. Oh man, God's law. I was just telling people that, You know, I'm doing well. I'm happy. And well, I have what I need, Edison. I have what I need. Watch some of my videos and you'll find out I have what I need. You know? All right. So true, Bullfrog. Depends on the type of air rifle you have, Edison. You do have air rifles with big bore, you know what I mean, that can take down deers. You have the more powerful ones that can take down larger animals. I mean, you have basically the Humorex Hammer, the AEA Zeus, that's 75 caliber slugs. We're talking about a slug longer than my thumb, but just as thick. It can go right through a cinder block. It'll put in, so it can take down a bear. We're talking PCP here. No, less than lethal is not a toy. It's called less than lethal, which means it could be lethal if you shoot in the right spots. Ah, damn. Man, the allergies are kicking up. I tell you, I was doing karaoke, and because of the allergies I was dealing with, I can't. My singing came out terrible. I said I ain't singing again. Nah. I don't. You know, those spring allergies, they really just grow. Exactly, Bullfrog. Yeah, isn't that interesting, Edison? Isn't that interesting? But I actually embrace it a little bit because it is very very advantageous to people who are restricted or people who want alternatives, you know? So I think it's awesome. Only in America. Well, either way, it's a projectile weapon, Greg. Like I said, we have air guns that have similar numbers to firearms. Air guns today are no joke. Okay. I would say, yeah. But I would say, yeah, I would say that, you know, the problem is with the UK, you have no right of self-defense. None. Hello, Bradley. Damn allergies, I tell you. Oh, you're wrong, Zigzag. Very wrong. With PCP, oh yeah, we're talking. Look up what was the name of that air? There's a lot of PCP air pistols that are very powerful. That can. I've seen one PCP air pistol that can go right through a block of ice, no problem. And of course, there was a guy named Mr. 45 who used a PCP air pistol and killed 2 people with them. So that's how powerful these PCP air rifles and pistols are. Yes, it is, Comedy Flu. Yes, it is. The laws vary from state to state, Bullfrog. Okay, we're up to 15 likes. I'm liking that. You know, but I always say one of the best alternatives to a firearm, if you can't get an air gun or nothing, is a repeating crossbow. They can do some lethal damage. I'm going to tell you that. Those repeating crossbows, they're on the market. They're cheaper than the PCP air rifles. They don't require as much maintenance. And they can do some lethal damage. You know, and there's a less than lethal launcher called the Pistol, or Intra Buster, that is 50 joules out of the box. For those who don't know, 50 joules is like getting hit with a medieval Morning Star. It's like getting hit with a medieval Morning Star in the head. You know, it's we're talking about a lot of force, a lot of like kinetic force there. You know, I've seen like demonstrations of the Pistol launcher. If you shoot someone in the head with that, they're as good as, you know what I mean? That's it. Well, there was actually a real case. You can look up Berna, okay? Berna has a lot of these stories, right? Where a road rager pulls a gun out on a driver, and he has his Berna. And the Berna won. It all depends if you get the drop on somebody. It doesn't matter if someone has a gun or not, or you have a less than lethal launcher. It depends if you get the drop on them before they get the drop on you. If someone has a gun and they don't pull it out in time, you can get the drop on them. So it all depends on if you pull out your weapon faster than the other guy. That's all it depends on. You know? No, that's B-Y-R-N-A, Greg. Berna. Well, I'll put it this way. Less lethal launchers, you can shoot more rounds, I'll put it that way. They have similar amounts of power, baby daddy, but with less lethal launchers, you can get like multiple rounds. It's like getting shot with a steel ball bearing like multiple times with a less lethal launcher. Well, it's called less than lethal. It doesn't mean it isn't lethal. It doesn't have the potential to be lethal. It just means it's less than lethal. It's kind of like rubber bullets aren't always, you know, don't always just maim people during a riot. Now, do they? Sometimes they kill people. They have been. Greg, with lethal effect, Greg, especially with a headshot. That all depends, Dead Wolf. Who gets the? It depends on the. For example, a cop. For example, I'll put it this way: a cop wants to keep a certain amount of distance from you. You know what I mean? Because of the fact they don't want you to get too close to them. You want to know why that is? Because someone could use a knife at close range much more effectively than a cop could pull out his pistol. So at close range, yeah, this is much more effective because the police train to have a certain amount of feet get someone, because someone could pull a knife out and they could not get to their pistol in time. That's how effective a knife is at close range. So it all depends on the range we're talking about here. Yeah. I understand, Bullfrog. Well, we don't use 9mm in terms. We use 68 caliber and 50 caliber. Those are the two calibers that we use in the less than lethal world. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can get. Yes, there is actually. There is, and I can't show it on this stream. You can get like a pump action one or a semi-automatic one from Umarex. The HDX 68 or the HDB 68. Yes, there is a less than lethal shotgun. Oh, and they also have the HDS 68, which is a double-barrel shotgun. Yes, there is. So true, Greg. Whatever you believe, Zigzag, but these are not airsoft guns, okay? Airsofts are toys. But you got to know the difference between less than lethal, PCP, which has firearm power. You know? How you doing, Steven? Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be fun, bro. No, they don't. Have you heard of Byrna? B-Y-R-N-A? No, they don't classify these as toys. Not where I'm from, baby daddy. No. Like I said, you get up to 30 to 50, 20 joules. That's a lot of power. That's like getting punched in the face, like consecutively. You know what I mean? We're talking like it's the equivalent of getting punched in the face from a kickboxer with speed punches. You know what I mean? Hello, Northwest Air Guns. How you doing, buddy? Love a fellow air gunner. Yeah, because I don't believe in this stupid stuff. How you doing, Koitax? Right? Well, Delaware are morons. Oh, that's a good one, Bullhorn. Yeah, that is. But you know, the thing is, spear throwing is not in every culture. So yeah, I love spear throwing. That's right, Steven. Come again, Muhammad. Well, have you looked at the PCP air guns? Have you looked at them at PCP? They did, air guns were used by Lewis and Clark. You realize that, right? There was a PCP air rifle used by Lewis and Clark, okay, on the expedition, and it killed a lot of Indians. So, yeah. Doing great, Mohan. Already way ahead of you, Bullfrog. Way ahead of you. Well, we got some better stuff now. We got some. I have a 68 caliber ball, like PVC nylon ball, hard. It'll stop somebody. Well, you can believe that all you want, baby daddy. I'm not here to. You're one of those tactical persons. Tactical. You have this. You have this thing where you just want to troll me and say, "Oh, these are not real weapons. They can't do nothing." I would think you'd find out different if you got shot with one. But if you're willing to take the pepper ball challenge, I will definitely accommodate you. You want to get shot with the pepper ball? See how much that is a toy? Yeah, well, you'll see. I'm not that far from your state. I know people in your state, so yeah. You want to take the pepper ball challenge? More than glad to oblige you. Police use them. Yes, Greg, the police use pepper balls, and so do I. They're not exactly legal in every state, but they're legal in my state. Yes, you know why they use them? Because it irritates your throat, your nasal passages, your eyes, to the point where you're coughing. And I breathe in some of that pepper ball dust. It's not nice. You're coughing up a lot, It's especially if you get hit directly in the face with one. Oh, you know what I mean? You're down. You can't breathe. That's very true out in the wire. Well, I'll put it this way, Zigzag. Some people can't get a firearm, and I'm here to offer alternatives. And there are alternatives. Cool, Zigzag. No, you couldn't, Big Daddy. No, you'd be coughing like a son of a bitch. And you'd be burning like a son of a bitch. Trust me, you wouldn't like the sensation you got. North Dakota, awesome. So true, Bullfrog. How you doing, Northwest Air Guns? Love the UK. No, I'm saying try it without the gas mask. I'm saying you take a little, baking tray, right? I shoot you right in the baking tray. And you breathe in some of that pepper ball dust in the cloud. And see if you're still standing. I bet you won't. But I'm saying that's not the pepper ball challenge. I'm saying try it without the gas mask. See how it works. like a little bitch. That's very true. That's very true, Stephen. That's so true. That's terrible. I'm sorry to hear about that, Northwest. Oh, you can't hold your breath. That's coming up in your nostrils, your eyes. You're not going to be able to hold your breath. I tried that. No. I am considering that, Bullfrog. Okay. I will consider that. No, I'm not a felon, Zigzag. No, man. I'm not a felon. No, I haven't been in prison, so no. No. Okay, in the state of Maryland, okay, if you, let's say, as a juvenile, have been labeled mentally ill, I'll say that. If you've been labeled mentally ill, and let's say if you're a juvenile and you've been labeled mentally ill, and if you have, let's say if they see you as mentally ill, anyone with mental illness is just as, it doesn't matter if you didn't commit a crime or not. You don't get a firearm. You don't get a Mr. Boom Boom. That's my predicament. You know what I mean? I prefer dogs, Bullfrog. So I never basically, I'm not a felon. I'm just, mental health record prevents me from owning a firearm. From your perspective, I guess you would see that, but I don't see a repeating crossbow as a toy. Crossbows have been killing people before firearms were invented. You know? That's very true, Zigzag. Very true. Oh, no, Stephen. No way, Stephen. No, I voted for Trump. I support Trump. I like everything Trump is doing. Oh, I love it. I love it. Doge. Are you kidding me? No. Do I? No, I don't like the system. I think the system is corrupt, and I think what Trump is doing is awesome. I like what RFK Jr. is doing, banning food dyes. I love that. And that's a good attitude to have, Zigzag. That is the same attitude I have. I've seen what happens when someone breaks in your house and you got no weapons. It happened to my father. It will never happen to me. So that would be very awesome, Bullfrog. I'm Cryptor27 on Discord. YM. Cryptor27. Okay? Good for you, but I hate to say it. That's a losing strategy, Steven. You're going to need something to even the odds a little bit if someone does have a firearm. Yeah, I can tell you did. I looked at the statistics on voting. Most people in the Jewish community did vote for Kamala. Yes, I looked up the voting stats. Men of all ages and all races voted for Trump. Women, I think it was 50% of women voted for Trump. It was a mixed bag with women. Yeah, and that's the point. You think a rural area is going to protect you from thieving? No. You need to basically be prepared. Well, I'll put it this way, Zigzag. It's good to be familiar with all weapons, not just firearms. Zigzag, let me explain. Today's crossbows are repeating, which means they can shoot more than one shot, which makes them close to firearms in firepower. You get it? Steven. Well, here's the point. Well, I do hear that one Providence is thinking about joining the United States willingly. And if you have and of course, let's be honest, your biggest weapon is the dark, is stealth. That's how you deal with situations like that. You go dark. Amen to that, Noah. You got to be prepared. You have to leave a comment. You know, if you just left a comment on my stream afterwards, YM, I could help you. I can't do it during a stream. I can't. Or if you wanted to hit me up on Instagram, I could help you. No, I mean, I could give you my link on Instagram a lot easier. Yeah. That's true. Exactly, Zigzag. Well, did I surprise you? All right, well, we got 16 likes. I took karate for 6 years, baby daddy. I know hand-to-hand combat. Yes. Yeah, that's the problem with some of these firearms guys. They think that's the end-all to be-all as a firearm. It's not. You got to be ready. You got to be trained for different situations. You got to be more versatile in your combat experience. Not just firearms. Exactly. Well, awesome, Walnut Witch. God bless you. Thank you, Walnut Witch. Exactly, Greg. Exactly. You have to be ready. It's not just about the weapon. It's the man behind it. That's what people don't understand. Okay, it's not the weapon, it's the man behind it. The weapon is the tool. You're only as good as how well you can use your weapon. How well you can deploy your weapon. That's the part that a lot of these tactical people are missing. You can't throw hands? What? You can't use a knife? You can't use other weapons besides firearms? You're not versatile. You got to be versatile. That's the problem. A lot of you people say, like tactical people say, firearms only. Firearms the only effective way. Well, yeah, I will admit to you, firearms are the most effective way, but they're not. But there are other ways that can be just as effective in other ways. It's the weapon you train with. No, baby daddy, I never was in the military. I took martial arts, but yeah. But no, I was never in the military. I do not claim any valor. I never do that. That's awesome, Greg. Thank you for your family service. I have family members who fought in World War II and in Vietnam. So yeah. So I have a military tradition in my family. I didn't serve, but I do have family members who have served. And I thank you for your service. And a lot of times, like I'm just telling people, you know, a lot of these tactical people is saying, well, I can just pull a trigger. You're a moron. Thank you, Neutral Rebel. God bless you. Well, you know, it's not exactly honorable. It's practical. It's practical. You know, yeah, it's good to have, you know, whatever weapons you can get. It's good to have firearms if you can get them. It's good to have alternatives if you can get them. But there are alternatives that are just as lethal. Like the PCPs, the repeating crossbows, the less than lethal. If shot in the head, the less than lethal can be effective. The point is here is that you don't underestimate any weapon. I keep telling people that. Don't underestimate any weapon. It could be your biggest mistake because it's never the weapon. It's always the person behind it. If the person's has trained well with that weapon, is effective with that weapon, they might surprise you. Awesome, Greg. Bullfrog. But anyway, that's the point. Is that these tactical, and I call them tactical people, because not all firearms people are this stupid. I'm going to tell you that. Not all firearms people are this dumb. Okay? You know, they're not this dumb, because I've talked to really good ones that know. No, you're not tactical, you're tactical. Tactical. Which means, oh, guns are cool and nothing else is effective. And I'm just going to rely on firearms all the time to protect myself. You know? It's stupid. There are situations that require maybe hand-to-hand combat, close-range stuff. Sometimes. Not all the time. Bullfrog. They have been arming themselves a little bit more. But I'll put it this way. I always say this when they put down these primitive weapons, right? Let's just start with the primitive, not the less than lethal launchers. I'm talking about the slings. I'm just talking about the shepherd sling or the bow and arrow, the sword, club, whatever. These weapons have been killing people for thousands of years. And I'm going to tell you, our ancestors were a lot tougher than us because they had to get up close and personal to deal with their enemies on the battlefield. They had to actually be trained in hand-to-hand combat a lot more than we are. So I always ask this question to these tactical people. Do you think your ancestors were pussies? Do you think that? You don't know what any... Here's the thing. You don't know... every situation in combat is different. You realize that, right? You don't know what people will do. You don't know what environment you're going to be in. And if you never deal with a combat situation, a situation where you have to defend yourself or your life, God bless you. I hope I never have to deal with that again. But I was there quite a few times. And a lot of times, it's close up. Air gun at it. How you doing, buddy? A lot of times, it can be very close up. A lot of times, you can't deploy a firearm in certain situations, in certain environments, and other situations. This is why the military trains in martial arts. This is why the military has different weapons for different situations. It's an idiotic thing. And our ancestors had a similar thing. And neither is getting stabbed, Greg. Getting stabbed is just as bad. But getting shot with an arrow or a bullet, which I don't know which one is equally. They're both lethal in their own ways. They can be potentially lethal in their own ways. Getting shot with an arrow, for example, is like it's a blade. If it's an arrowhead, it's like, say, it's razor sharp. It's basically tearing out, it's cutting your insides from the inside out. You're going to bleed out and die a slow and painful death if you got shot with an arrow. That's what arrows were made to do. Got shot with a bullet, it's like kinetic. So blast, it will just, it's just, a lot of rupturing. See, they kill in different ways, don't they? I'm not saying... Yeah, I agree. You have to ask yourself, Greg, which one's worse, getting shot with a bullet or an arrow? Because that arrow is not, there's no, for the most part, some crossbows will just go right through. Some crossbow bolts, depending on the crossbow, will go in you and out the other end. But some arrows will stick in there. They'll stick in to your body. There's no exit wound. Basically, it's in there. And if you try to pull it out, you're going to bleed more. It's a slow and painful bleed out. Well, and I'm here, Zigzag, to challenge your bias. Check out the PCP air rifles and pistols. Check out the AA Zeus. Check out these, my good buddy, check out my good buddy, Air Gun Alley. I think you're going to like him. He'll show you the power of some of these air guns. You might be surprised. That's your choice, big baby daddy. I don't care. Yeah, and guess what? They killed a lot of people. They conquered a lot of land with that bow. On horseback. Didn't they, Bullfrog? Yes, he did, Bullfrog. Sadly. This is, We were once friends. I mean, uh, I hope I'm praying that basically, since he's a Christian, I know what he believes, so he's in heaven. Baby daddy, I'm gonna explain something to you, okay? Number one, arrows are not firearms, so you couldn't call them guns. What are you talking about? Okay? Okay. Have you ever shot a crossbow in your life? I mean, AR-15 is awesome, don't get me wrong, but you've never shot a crossbow, have you? You've never seen the power of it. Oh, boy. Yeah. I'll put it this way. We had a falling out years ago, okay? He doxed me. But I forgive him. And by the way, Bo Kraus had a girlfriend, Grizz. I'm not hating on you for it. I'm not hating on you at all, Zigzag. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all, Zigzag. But I'll put it this way. Just don't underestimate any weapon. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Just because it's not a firearm doesn't mean it can't potentially be lethal. Just remember that. That's all I'm saying. Baby daddy, I told you about the repeating crossbows that are on the market. Have you ever shot a crossbow? Do you know how accurate they are and how lethal they are? I tell you. It's not, baby daddy, but it can stop you. But a kinetic round, let's say a riot ball, you know, like a hard riot ball, so let's say from a pistol, less than lethal launcher, shot in the head, it's 50 joules, yeah, like 3 shots and you're done. Your skull's cracked, yeah. It's like a high velocity sledgehammer. You know what I mean? That's very true, Zigzag, and that's what I've been trying to do. I'm staying away from him. I answer the questions, but that's about it. So true, Bullfrog, so true. But I'm saying, that's all I'm saying. I'll put it this way. It all depends if you can make your shot or not. I've seen people shoot guns who couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. It all depends on it all depends if you train your shot or not. It all depends on who's pulling the trigger. All right. Well, we got 20 likes. God bless you. All glory goes to God. Have a blessed day. I'm going to go out and do some shooting. Bye.